Somewhere out there, two people saved their first $100,000 on the exact same day. 10 years later, one of them has $400,000. The other one is back at 60. Same starting point, same salary, completely different math. I'm Frank. On this channel, we don't chase getting rich fast. We do the math on getting wealthy slowly. Last video, I showed you why $10,000 is where the machine turns on. Today, we go to the number that changes everything after that. 100,000. Because here's what nobody tells you about this milestone. The first 100K is the hardest thing you will ever do with money. And the second one is almost automatic. There's a famous piece of advice from Warren Buffett's business partner who spent his whole life studying compounding. His message to young people was blunt. Do whatever it takes to get the first 100,000, because after that, the math starts doing the heavy lifting for you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why that's true, the mistake that erases it, and the 3 moves that make you unstoppable. Let's do the math that makes this milestone so brutal and so powerful. Say you invest $500 a month at 7% a year, the long-term average of the stock market. Starting from your first $10,000, reaching $100,000 takes almost 10 years. 10 years. A decade of packing lunches, skipping upgrades, and watching a number crawl while everyone around you shows off new cars. That's the part that breaks most people. Not the math, the boredom. But now watch what happens next, because this is the chart they never show you. Your second 100,000? 6.5 years. The third? 4.5. The fourth? Under 3.5 years. Same $500 a month. Same 7%. Every single milestone arrives faster than the last one. Why? Because in year 1, the machine was basically just you. You put in $6,000 and the market added pocket change. But at 100,000, the machine has 100,000 workers. Every dollar earning, every day, whether you show up or not. The first 100K is hard because you're carrying the machine. After the first 100K, the machine starts carrying you. So if you're in year 3 or 4 right now, staring at 40,000 and feeling like it's going nowhere, you're not failing. You're in the steepest part of the climb. The part everyone quits on. Which is exactly why most people never see what's on the other side. Here's the moment it stops being theory. At $100,000, earning 7%, your money makes $7,000 a year. Let me translate that. That's $583 a month, every month. It's like having a roommate who pays you rent, never breaks anything, and never moves out. That's $19 a day. You wake up, $19. You binge a series all Sunday, $19. You get the flu, still $19. But here's the number that matters most. Remember what you contribute. $500 a month, $6,000 a year. At $100,000 invested, your portfolio earns $7,000. For the first time in your life, your money out-earns you. The tipping point I showed you in the last video? You didn't just reach it, you crossed it, and it never crosses back. Leave $100,000 completely alone, never add another cent. And at 7%, 30 years later, it's $761,000. You could stop today and still retire with more than most people who never started. That's what 100,000 really is. It's not a number in an account. It's the day your money gets its first full-time job. Now the part that hurts. Because there's a mistake people make at exactly this milestone. And it's bigger than the one from the last video. You hit 100,000. And suddenly, a voice shows up in your head. It says, "That's a lot of money. What if the market crashes? I should keep it somewhere safe." So they move it to a savings account. 0.5% interest. It feels responsible. It feels like protecting it. Here's what safe actually costs. 100,000 in a savings account at 0.5%. After 20 years, 110,000. The same money invested at 7%. 387,000. That decision, That one, quiet, responsible feeling decision costs $276,000. The $76,000 mistake from the last video? This is its big brother. And savings accounts aren't even the worst version. Some people hit $100K and cash out for the upgraded car, the bigger wedding, the I deserve this moment. They don't just spend $100,000, they spend everything that money would have become. They fire all 100,000 workers on the exact day the workers got good at their jobs. The milestone isn't the finish line. The milestone is when the race finally gets easy. Quitting here is like climbing to the top of the hill and refusing to let the snowball roll. So how do you protect a machine that took 10 years to build? 3 moves. Same philosophy as always. Boring on purpose. Move 1. Never break the machine. Compounding has one rule. It only works if you don't interrupt it. No cashing out for upgrades. No borrowing from yourself. Every dollar you pull out doesn't cost you $1. It costs you what that dollar would have become. The machine forgives bad markets. It never forgives an empty tank. Move 2. Raise the fuel. Here's a secret about the boring middle. Your income grows, and most people grow their lifestyle with it. Grow your contribution instead. Watch what that does. From $100,000, $500 a month at 7% reaches $1 million in about 26 years. $1,000 a month? 21.5. Every raise you invest instead of spend buys back years of your life. Not dollars, years. Move 3. Get out of the way. At $100,000, a market crash finally looks scary. A 20% drop is $20,000 on paper. This is where people panic, sell, tinker, chase. But you already know how this movie ends. The ones who win are the ones who do nothing. Boring index funds. Automatic deposits. Log out. Let's put the whole machine on screen. $100,000. $1,000 a month. 7% a year. That's $1 million in about 21 years. And from there, the machine adds your entire first decade of work. Every 18 months. Never break it. Feed it more. Get out of the way. That's the whole game from here. Here's the real lesson of $100,000. It was never about the money. It's about what the decade taught you. Anyone can get lucky once, but nobody saves their first 100K by accident. That number is proof. Proof you can ignore the noise. Proof you can outweight everyone chasing hot tips. Proof you already have the only skill wealth actually requires. Patience with a plan. The first 100,000 builds your money. But more importantly, it builds the person who can hold $1 million. Now, before your money makes its next move, there's one rule I run every single dollar through first. I call it the $20,000 rule, and it's the reason my machine never gets raided in an emergency. That's the next video. If you're somewhere in that long, boring, beautiful climb to your first 100K, subscribe. This channel is built for exactly where you are. Build it slowly. That's Frank.